Zara stumbled through the rain, her silver freckles glowing against her purple skin as lightning flashed across the sky. She pulled her cloak tighter around her tall, slender form, trying to hide her obviously alien features from any humans who might be looking out their windows. The small mining town was mostly quiet this late at night, but she could not risk being seen. Her scout ship had crashed 5 miles outside town after being damaged in an asteroid belt. She needed parts to fix the cooling system, or she would be stranded on this primitive planet. The thought made her 4-fingered hands tremble. She pressed the small device on her wrist, checking the scanner again. According to her readings, there was a repair shop nearby that might have what she needed. Zara turned a corner and saw it: Mason Auto and Machine Repair. The lights were still on despite the late hour. She hesitated, wondering if this was a mistake. Her mission was simply to observe humans from orbit, not to make contact. Her superiors would demote her, or worse if they discovered she had crashed on Earth and revealed herself to the locals. But she had no choice. Her emergency beacon was damaged too. If she waited for rescue, her people might not find her for weeks. Her breathing apparatus would fail long before then. Earth air was too rich in nitrogen for her lungs. Taking a deep breath, Zara approached the shop. A bell jingled as she pushed open the door. The smell of oil metal and something sweet hit her nostrils. She adjusted her universal translator, a small device behind her ear that would help her understand and speak the local language. A human female looked up from a workbench. Her hands were covered in black grease and her brown hair was pulled back in what Zara recognized as a ponytail. The human wore blue cloth coverings on her legs and a gray top with the name of the shop printed across it. For several moments they stared at each other. The human spoke first, dropping the wrench she was holding, with a loud clang. "Well, you're definitely not from around here." Zara remained in the doorway, ready to flee. "Are you afraid?" The human tilted her head. "I should be, I guess. But mostly, I'm curious." She wiped her hands on a rag. "Tori Mason. This is my shop. My name is Zara." Zara managed to say through her translator, "I need parts. My ship is damaged." Tori nodded slowly, as if this was a perfectly normal request. "I'm guessing you're not supposed to be here talking to humans." Zara shook her head. "No, I am breaking many rules. My people observe your planet, but direct contact is forbidden. We believe humans are too." She hesitated, too aggressive. A small smile appeared on Tora's face. "Fair enough. We do have a history of shooting first and asking questions later." She gestured to a stool. "Come in. Tell me what you need." "Maybe I can help." Zara hesitated, then closed the door behind her. She reached into a pocket and pulled out a small silver sphere. When she pressed it, a hologram appeared showing the damaged section of her ship. Tori whistled. "That looks like a coolant regulator system. I might have something that could work with some modifications." She studied the hologram closely. "What material is this made from?" Zara explained the composition using terms her translator struggled with. "Interesting," Tori said. "We can try a copper alloy. I have might work if we adjust the thickness." She walked toward the back of the shop. "Follow me." The shop was larger than it appeared from outside, with shelves reaching to the ceiling filled with parts, tools, and machinery. Tori climbed a ladder and searched through boxes on a high shelf, muttering to herself. Zara stood awkwardly watching the human. She had studied Earth cultures for years, but being here in person was different. The shop felt cramped compared to the open architecture her people preferred. The air smelled strange, rich with organic compounds. Her scanner showed traces of coffee, sugar, processed foods, and the unique biology of humans. Tori descended the ladder, holding several metal components. "This might work," she said, spreading them on a workbench. "Would you mind showing me that hologram again?" They spent the next hour examining parts, discussing options. Zara was surprised by the human's technical knowledge. Despite Earth's relatively primitive technology, Tori seemed to grasp the principles of the alien cooling system quickly. "I think we can modify this to work," Tori said eventually. "But it'll take time. Maybe 2 or 3 days." Zara's inner eyelids blinked. "Rapidly, a sign of distress. I cannot stay that long. My people will notice I am missing." Tori considered this. Well, I can work through the night, but you'll need somewhere to stay. Her eyes narrowed. Where exactly is your ship? 5 miles north in forest, Zara explained. Damaged but hidden good. Tori nodded. We should move it closer, though. If someone stumbles across an alien spaceship, it'll cause panic. She glanced at the clock on the wall. It's nearly midnight. Let me close up the shop and well figure this out. Zara watched as Tori locked the front door and pulled down blinds over the windows. The human moved with confidence, seeming untroubled by the presence of an alien in her shop. Zara had expected fear or aggression based on her training about humans. But this human seemed only curious and helpful. I live upstairs, Tori said, pointing to a door at the back of the shop. You can stay there tonight if you want. Tomorrow, well, get your ship, Zara. Hesitated. Will other humans see me? Tori shook her head. This town is mostly dead after 10. The few night owls are at the bar on the other side of town. We can use my truck with the covered back. If we're careful, no one will spot you. The apartment above the shop was small but neat. A main room combined, kitchen and living areas with a hallway leading to what Zara presumed were sleeping quarters. The walls were decorated with images of Earth landscapes and complex machinery diagrams. Tori opened her refrigerator. Are you hungry? Can you eat our food? Zara accessed her knowledge of human nutrition. My body can process some Earth foods, fruits, simple proteins. No dairy. Tori pulled out containers offering Zara apple slices and nuts. The alien accepted them cautiously, first scanning them with her wrist device, then taking small bites. Her mouth had similar structure to humans, but with more sensitive taste receptors. The sweetness of the apple was almost overwhelming. So Tori said, sitting across from her at a small table, Why do your people watch? Earth. Zara considered how much to reveal. We study developing civilizations, those approaching space travel capability. Your species is unusual, technologically advanced but socially primitive. You have nuclear weapons but still fight over resources. And territory. Tori nodded, thoughtfully eating her own apple slice. We're complicated, I guess. She looked at Zara with curious eyes. What happens if your bosses find out you're here talking to me? Punishment, Zara said. Demotion. Possibly worse. Revealing ourselves to pre-approved species is our most serious violation. Then why risk helping me? Tori asked. Zara looked down at her 4-fingered hands. I was curious. I have studied humans for years, through observation only. I wanted to know if you were truly as dangerous as our reports suggest. And what do you think so far? You are not what I expected, Zara admitted. They talked late into the night. Tori explained her life in the small town, how she had inherited the repair shop from her father. How she dreamed of leaving someday to see more of the world. Zara shared carefully selected information about her people. Their technology, their social structure, their art. Their conversation flowed easily despite their differences. The next morning before dawn, they set out in Tori's truck to retrieve Zara's ship. The vehicle was old and made concerning noises, but Tori assured her it was reliable. The roads were empty as they drove through town and into the countryside. Zara's ship was where she had left it, a small scout vessel about the size of Tori's truck. Its sleek silver hull was partially hidden under tree branches. The damaged section showed clear signs of impact where an asteroid had struck it. Nice, Tori said, walking around the vessel. Smaller than I expected. She reached out a hand, hesitating. Is it okay if I touch it? Zara nodded. Tori ran her fingers over the smooth metal. This material. What is it? It's like nothing I've ever seen. Zara explained the composition using the simplest terms. Could we need to get this back to the shop? Tori said. Does it have some kind of cloaking technology to hide it? Zara pressed a sequence on her wrist device and the ship shimmered, becoming nearly transparent. Only a slight distortion in the air revealed its presence. Perfect, Tori said. Now how do we move it? The ship had emergency propulsion still functional enough to hover a few feet off the ground. Tori backed her truck up to a clearing and Zara guided the vessel onto the truck bed. The cloaking technology would keep it hidden during transport as they drove back to town. Zara felt strangely excited. Despite the danger of her situation, she was experiencing something no other member of her species had an honest, unfiltered interaction with: humans. And this human Tori was nothing like the aggressive, primitive beings described in her training. The morning sun was just beginning to rise as they returned to the repair shop. Tori carefully backed the truck into the large garage at the rear of the building, closing the doors quickly behind them. Zara deactivated the cloaking device, allowing the ship to become visible again. "Let's get to work," Tori said, rolling up her sleeves. "I think this is going to be the most interesting repair job I've ever had." As they began examining the damaged cooling system more closely, Zara watched the human with growing curiosity. There was something about Tori that fascinated her. Perhaps it was her easy confidence, her quick mind, or her lack of fear, but Zara found herself wanting to know more about this human who had so quickly upended everything she thought she knew about Earth and its people. The next 2 days passed in a blur of work and discovery. Tori and Zara spent hours in the garage working on the damaged ship. The cooling system was more complicated than either had initially thought, requiring careful modifications to make Earth materials compatible with alien technology. Tori proved herself remarkably adaptable, quickly grasping concepts that should have been centuries beyond human understanding. Her fingers moved with precision as she helped Zara reconnect delicate components. "You know, this is incredible," Tori said as they took a break on the second afternoon. She wiped sweat from her forehead and took a drink of water. "Your technology, it's like something out of science fiction for us, but you make it look so simple." Zara adjusted a setting on her scanner. "My people have had space travel for over 2,000 of your Earth years. We learned through many failures." Her silver freckles seemed to shimmer in the garage light. "You are learning much faster than I expected," Tori smiled at the compliment. "Am good with machines, always have been. Dad used to say I could fix anything with enough time and the right tools." She looked at the ship. "It's beautiful, the design. Everything. So streamlined." Zara had never thought of the scout vessel as beautiful. It was simply functional, a tool for her work. But seeing it through Taurus eyes, she began to appreciate its elegance. By evening, they had made significant progress. The new cooling component was taking shape, a hybrid of earth metals and salvaged parts from the ship. Tori had suggested several modifications that Zara would never have considered, approaches that were less efficient but more adaptable. As they cleaned up for the day, Tori asked, "How long have you been watching us humans?" Zara hesitated, then decided there was little harm in sharing. "My species has observed Earth for nearly 100 years. Tori looked surprised. "That long, and you've never made contact?" "Some believe we should," Zara admitted. "There are debates among our scientists. Those who study your art, your music, your capacity for kindness, think you are ready. Others who study your wars, your environmental destruction, your treatment of your own species, think contact would be dangerous. And which side are you on?" Zara considered the question. "I was undecided. That is why I was curious, why I took the risk to come closer. That decision led to my crash." Tori nodded, understanding. "And now, what do you think?" "After meeting me, I think," Zara said slowly, "that perhaps both sides are right. Humans are complex, more complex than our studies suggested. You are capable of great kindness and great cruelty, sometimes in the same moment." They walked upstairs to Taurus' apartment. The human made dinner, a simple meal of vegetables and rice that Zara's system could tolerate. As they ate, Tori asked more questions about Zara's world, her people, her life. The conversation flowed easily between them. Despite their differences, "Do you have family?" Tori asked. "Waiting for you, Zara nodded. "My mother is a scientist like me. My father designs ships. I have 2 siblings. Do they know where you are?" "No," Zara said, feeling a wave of something like homesickness. "Our mission requires silence for 3 Earth months. I am not expected to report until then." Tori looked concerned. "They're not looking for you." "Not yet. If I can repair my ship and return, I can claim my scanners detected interesting atmospheric readings that required closer study. It would not be entirely false." "What about you?" Zara asked, changing the subject. "Do you have family?" Tori shook her head. "Not anymore. Dad died 3 years ago. Mom left when I was little. It's just me. She gestured around the small apartment. This shop is all I have. You seem isolated, Zara observed. Tori shrugged. Small towns are like that. Everyone knows everyone, but that doesn't mean you're close. She picked at her food. I always planned to leave someday. See the world. Maybe go to college. But then Dad got sick and I had to take over the shop. After he was gone, I just never found the right time to leave. They were quiet for a moment, both thinking about the strange circumstances that had brought them together. An alien from an advanced civilization and a human mechanic from a small town. Their meeting defied all probability. Yet here they were sharing a meal, discussing their lives as if it were the most natural thing. Later that night, Zara stood by the window looking up at the stars. Her people were up there watching, unaware that one of their own had made contact. She wondered what they would think if they knew. What punishment would await her when she returned? The next morning they returned to work. The cooling system was nearly complete. Tori had ingeniously adapted a truck radiator, combining it with salvaged alien technology. The result wasn't as elegant as the original, but Zara believed it would function. By midday they were ready for a test. Zara powered up the ship systems, routing energy to the cooling component. There's a temperature spike, Tori said, watching the diagnostic screen. Her face was illuminated by the blue glow of alien technology. Is that normal? Zara adjusted settings quickly. No. The connection is unstable. They worked frantically to stabilize the system, Tori's hands moving alongside Zara's, four-fingered ones. Their bodies pressed close together as they reached into the tight space where the cooling system was housed. Got it. Tori said finally. The temperature is dropping back to normal levels. We just need to reinforce this connection here. She pointed to a junction where the earth metals met the alien. Alloy. Zara nodded, impressed by the humans. Quick thinking. You would make a good engineer among my people. Tori grinned a compliment I can live with. She wiped her hands on her overalls. So how much longer until it's fully functional? Another day, perhaps, Zara estimated. Then I can return to orbit. Something flickered across Tori's face, an emotion Zara couldn't identify. Right? She said. You'll be heading home. They worked in silence for a while, each lost in thought. Zara found herself strangely reluctant to complete the repairs. Though she knew she must return to her people, to her mission, she had grown comfortable in Tori's presence. The human challenged. Her thinking made her laugh, showed her aspects of Earth culture that official observation had never revealed. That afternoon, while they were taking a break, there was a knock at the garage door. Tori froze, exchanging an alarmed look with Zara. She whispered, pointing to a storage room. Zara slipped quickly into the small room, leaving the door slightly ajar so she could see and hear. Tori activated the cloaking device on the ship before opening the garage door. A male human stood there, medium height with dark hair and a uniform Zara recognized as local law enforcement. Hey Tori, he said, Sheriff Lori said she saw lights in your garage late last night, just checking everything's okay. Tori leaned against the doorframe, casual but blocking his view. We're fine, Sam. Just working on a special project. The man tried to look past her into the garage. Anything interesting? Customer confidentiality, Tori said with a smile. You know how it is. He nodded, though he looked suspicious. Just doing my rounds. You know how quiet this town gets, makes people notice anything unusual. He paused. Have you seen any strangers around? Couple of kids reported seeing weird lights in the sky. Few nights back, Tori shook her head. No strangers, just me and my tools. After the man left, Tori closed the door and leaned against it, her face pale. That was close, she said as Zara emerged from hiding. We must be more careful. Zara said, others may become suspicious. Tori nodded thoughtfully. Let's finish this today if we can. The sooner your ship is fixed, the safer for both of us. They worked with renewed focus through the afternoon and into the evening. The cooling system was now fully integrated with the ship's power source. All diagnostic tests showed normal function. Zara, made final adjustments, ensuring the patched component would survive the journey back to orbit. There, Tori said, finally stepping back to admire their work. I think it's done. She looked at Zara. Should we test it, Zara? Nodded, activating the ship's engines. The vessel hummed to life systems coming online one by one. The cooling component showed green on the diagnostic screen, functioning perfectly. The repair had worked. It's ready, Zara confirmed. I can leave tonight. Tori nodded, her expression unreadable. That's great, she said, though her voice lacked enthusiasm. You'll be back with your people soon. They returned to Tori's apartment to clean up and prepare for Zara's departure. The alien watched as Tori moved around the kitchen making coffee, seemingly lost in thought. There was tension between them now, an unspoken acknowledgement that their brief time together was ending. Zara broke the silence. My people would not understand what happened here. They would see only that I broke protocol, risked exposure. Tori looked up. Do you regret it? No, Zara said honestly. I have learned more about humans in these days with you than in years of observation. You have shown me kindness, intelligence, resourcefulness. Her silver freckles glowed softly as she spoke. You have changed how I see your species. Tori smiled, though there was sadness in it. For what it's worth, you've changed how I see the universe. She gestured toward the ceiling. The stars, all that space I always dreamed about, what might be out there. Now I know. They sat in companionable silence, drinking coffee. Tori had prepared a small bag of food for Zara's journey, though the alien had explained she would need little for the short trip back to orbit. As midnight approached, they knew it was time. Tori drove them to a clearing several miles from town, far from any houses or roads, where Zara could safely launch without being seen. The night was clear, the stars brilliant overhead. The moon cast enough light for them to see, but not enough to expose them to distant observers. 3 months passed since Zara had returned to orbit. She rejoined her research team, claiming her absence was due to interesting atmospheric readings that required closer study. Her superiors were skeptical, but the data she provided, fabricated from actual observations, seemed to satisfy them. She was issued a formal reprimand for not following proper protocols, but allowed to continue her work. No one suspected the truth, that she had crashed on Earth, made contact with a human, formed a connection she could not forget. Zara stood at the observation deck of the research vessel, staring down at the blue planet below. Somewhere on that swirling sphere was a small town with a repair shop, a human named Tori, who had changed everything Zara knew about Earth and its inhabitants. Commander Liren approached, standing beside her. You spend much time here, observer. Her voice was neutral, but Zara detected concern. The Earth is fascinating, Zara replied carefully. Their development continues to surprise. Liren nodded. The High Council is reviewing our findings. They will decide soon whether to continue observation or make contact. Her expression revealed nothing of her own opinion on the matter. When Zara did not respond, Liren continued. You were against contact before your close observation mission. Now you submit reports suggesting humans may be ready. What changed your perspective? Zara chose her words with care. I observed their adaptability, their creativity. Even their flaws show potential. They learn quickly. What Zara could not say was that she thought of Tori constantly, of their conversations, their work together, the look in the human's eyes as Zara's ship rose into the night sky. She could not explain how one human had completely changed her understanding of an entire species. Later that day, Zara was summoned to the command center. The research team was gathered around the main viewing screen. Commander Liren gestured for her to join them. We have detected an unusual signal. From the surface, Liren explained, it appears to be directed specifically at our vessel. Zara felt her heart's race. Could it be a signal meant for them? For her, the communications officer adjusted settings. A pattern appeared on the screen. Simple mathematical sequences. The universal language of prime numbers following a distinct pattern. This signal originates from a small settlement in the region you studied, Liren said, watching Zara closely. The technology is primitive, but the intent is clear. Someone is trying to contact us, the other researchers murmured among themselves. This was unprecedented. Humans were not supposed to know they were being observed, yet someone clearly did. I will report this to High Command, Liren said. We must determine how. Our presence was detected. Zara stared at the signal on the screen. She recognized the pattern. It was not just mathematics. It contained a message, embedded in a way her people used in early communications. If the others analyzed it carefully, they would see, but for now only she understood. It was Tora's name repeated in the pattern of pulses Tori was calling to her. The High Council ordered an immediate investigation. A team would be sent to the source of the signal to determine how humans had detected their presence and what threat this might pose. Their mission of quiet observation was compromised. Zara volunteered immediately. I am familiar with the region. I should lead the investigation. Liren studied her suspicion. Evident. Then you will. Take a security team. Observer Delna and Guard Captain Vorn will accompany you. This is no longer simple observation. This is a potential security breach. Zara felt her plans crumbling. She had hoped to go alone to find Tori to warn her. Now she would have witnesses. Worse, Vorn was known for his aggressive approach to problem-solving. He viewed humans as primitive threats. Their small craft landed at night in the same clearing where Zara had said goodbye to Tori 3 months earlier. They wore adaptive clothing that would help them blend in among humans, though their alien features would be difficult to disguise completely. We locate the signal source, assess the situation, then return to orbit. Vorn said, checking his defensive equipment. No unnecessary interaction with the locals. Delna, a senior observer, nodded. Agreement. This is reconnaissance only. The town was quiet as they approached, moving through shadows. The signal had been traced to a building on the edge of town. Zara's hearts raced as she recognized it. Mason Auto and Machine Repair. A light burned in the upstairs window. Vorn studied the building. There are energy signatures consistent with the transmission equipment inside. He gestured to Delna. You two circle around. I will approach from the front. No, Zara said quickly. We should observe first, learn the situation before approaching. Vorn looked at her strangely. Since when does an observer give orders to security? Before Zara could respond, the back door of the shop opened. A figure stepped out. Tori. The human looked different, her hair shorter, her face thinner, but it was undeniably her. She carried something in her hands, a small device that glowed with power. Zara felt Delna tense beside her. What is that device? An improvised transmitter, Zara said, recognizing components from her own ship. The cooling system they had repaired together had been modified, turned into a beacon. The human had used alien technology to call to the stars. Vorn reached for his weapon. The human has stolen our technology. This confirms hostile intent. Wait, Zara said, but it was too late. Vorn stepped from the shadows, his weapon raised. The human looked up, startled. Then her expression changed to wonder as she recognized Zara standing behind. Vorn. Tori, she whispered. Vorn spoke his translator, converting his words to English. You have compromised our mission. Human. You will explain how you acquired our technology. Tori raised her hands slowly, still holding the device. I just wanted to talk. I knew you were up there watching. She looked past Vorn to Zara. I hoped you would come back. Vorn turned to Zara, his expression hardening. You know this. Human. Zara stepped forward, unable to maintain the deception any longer. Yes. I made contact 3 months ago. When my ship crashed, this human helped repair it. Delna gasped. Observer Zara. You violated our most sacred protocol. Did, Zara admitted, and I would do it again. She moved to stand beside Tori. I learned more about humans through this encounter than our team has learned in decades of observation. Vorn raised his weapon again. This is treason. The council will have you both contained. Tori looked confused, whispering to Zara. Contained? It means imprisoned. Zara explained quietly. Delna stepped forward, lowering Vorn's weapon. Guard Captain. We must report to the council before taking action. This situation is unprecedented. Vorn hesitated, then nodded. But they come with us, both of them. The human is evidence of Zara's betrayal. No, Zara, Said they will study her experiment on her. I will not allow it. Tori touched Zara's arm gently. It's okay, I want to go with you. I built this. She held up the device to talk to you. I knew the risks. Zara looked at the human with wonder and sadness. You cannot understand what this means, Tori. My people, they do not see yours as equals. But Tori was already gathering things from the shop, stuffing clothes and tools into a bag. If I go with you, I can show them. We're not what they think. We can learn from each other. The journey back to the ship was tense. Vorn walked behind them, weapon ready. Delna ahead, sending urgent communications to the research vessel. Zara and Tori walked side by side, not speaking but drawing comfort from each other's presence. Once, aboard the small craft, Tori stared out the viewport with awe as Earth shrank beneath them. This is really happening, she whispered, her face illuminated by the glow of her home planet. I always dreamed of space. Zara felt a mixture of pride and fear. Pride at showing Tori the stars, fear at what awaited them on the research vessel. The Council would not be merciful. Zara had broken their most important law, revealed their presence to a primitive species, brought one aboard their ship. The penalties would be severe. Yet looking at Tora's face filled with wonder, Zara could not regret her actions. The research vessel loomed ahead, a massive structure in orbit around Earth. Tori gasped at the sight of it. It's beautiful, she said. Like a silver city in space. Zara smiled despite everything. To her, the vessel was simply functional, but she was beginning to see her own world through Tora's eyes, finding beauty where she had never noticed it before. When they docked, Commander Lyran was waiting with security officers, their expressions grave as Tori stepped from the craft, the first human to board their vessel. Lyran approached Zara. You have much to explain. Observer. I do. Zara acknowledged. But first, this human deserves respect. She is not a specimen or a prisoner. She came willingly to speak with our council. Tori stood tall despite being surrounded by aliens, her courage evident in her steady gaze. I built a device to contact you, she said to Lyran. My name is Tori Mason. I'm a mechanic. I repaired Zara's ship when it crashed. She glanced at Zara. Our peoples should be talking, not just observing from a distance. Lyran studied the human with surprise. You speak our language, the universal translator. Zara explained. Tori wears one. I gave her mine. This grows worse with every revelation, Lyran said. Our technology in human hands. Tori stepped forward. Look, I know you're upset, but this could be a good thing. I mean, think about it. I've proven humans can understand your technology, adapt to it, even improve it. She gestured to the modified cooling system turned transmitter. I figured out your signal patterns, reverse engineered parts of your communication system. That shows we're ready for contact, doesn't it? The command center fell silent as the aliens considered her words. Even Vorn seemed thoughtful. Lyran finally spoke. You will both be contained until the council decides your fate. Commander Lyran was not easily persuaded. The idea of taking a human back to their homeworld violated countless protocols. But Tori was persistent, presenting her case with logic and passion. Consider the scientific value, she argued as they sat in Lyran's office. Your people have studied humans from a distance for decades, but to truly understand us, you need to observe how we adapt to new environments, how we learn new technologies and cultures. She leaned forward. I could be your first case study. Zara watched with pride as Tori presented her arguments. The human had learned quickly about their social structures, finding the points that would appeal to the commander. Lyran tapped her long fingers against the desk. This is unprecedented. Most first contacts are, Tori countered with a smile. The commander looked to Zara. You support this proposal? With all my heart, Zara said, then added quickly. And from a scientific perspective, it offers unique research opportunities. Her freckles glowed softly, betraying her emotions. Lyran studied them both. I will consult with the council. She stood, signaling the end of the meeting, but I make no promises. When they were alone, Tori squeezed Zara's hand. Did I do okay? You were brilliant, Zara said. Though I worry, you do not fully understand what you are asking. My world is very different from Earth. The gravity, the atmosphere, even the light from our sun. Adapting will be difficult. Tori nodded thoughtfully. I'll need some kind of breathing apparatus, right? And probably supplements for nutrients your food might not provide. She smiled at Zara's surprised expression. What? I pay attention when you talk about your planet. 3 days later, they were summoned back to Lyran's office. The commander stood by the viewport, her back to them as they entered. The council has reached a decision, she said, turning to face them. They believe direct observation of human adaptation could provide valuable insights. The scientific community is particularly interested in studying how your physiology responds to our environment. Tori held her breath, waiting. Therefore, Lyran continued, you will be permitted to travel to our homeworld as part of a cultural exchange, a scientific mission. She fixed her gaze on Zara. Observer, Zara, will be your guide and caretaker responsible for your safety and integration. Tori broke into a wide grin, glancing at Zara with joy. However, Lyran added, your journey must serve a greater purpose. You will be expected to share information about Earth. To help prepare for wider contact, you will undergo regular testing and observation. And she paused. You must understand this may be a one-way journey. Our ships do not regularly travel between systems. Tori nodded. I understand. And I accept. Preparations began immediately. Medical teams designed adaptations for Taurus human physiology. A breathing mask that would filter the higher oxygen content of Zara's world supplements to provide nutrients missing from alien food. A device to protect her from the stronger radiation of their sun. Tori approached each test and procedure with curiosity and courage. While the alien scientists examined her blood, took tissue samples, measured her responses to simulated environments, she asked endless questions about their world, its people, its history. What will your family think about you bringing home a human? Tori asked one evening as they reviewed adaptation protocols in Zara's quarters. Zara looked up from the datapad. My mother will be fascinated. She is a xenobiologist. She studies life forms on different worlds. My father will be more reserved but curious. My siblings. She smiled. They will ask you endless questions. And what about? She hesitated. Other aliens like you. Will they accept me? There will be curiosity, Zara admitted. Some fear, perhaps. We have never had other intelligent species visit our world, but many will welcome you, especially the scientific community. Tori nodded, absorbing this. And us. She gestured between them. What will they think about us, about this connection we have? Zara's freckles glowed softly. Some will understand, others will not. My people form deep bonds, but they are usually within our own kind. There is no prohibition against interspecies relationships, but they are unprecedented. The humans smiled. That seems to be our specialty. Doing the unprecedented. As their departure approached, Tori was given one last opportunity to speak with Earth. A secure communication was established with human governments who had been informed of first contact. The world was still adjusting to the news that aliens existed, had been watching them for decades. A formal delegation would remain in Earth orbit, continuing diplomatic relations. But Tori needed to say her goodbyes. Imam stood before the communication screen, uncertain who would be on the other end. When the connection cleared, she saw a room full of officials, military leaders, scientists, all staring at her with awe and suspicions. Mason, a gray-haired woman, said, stepping forward, I am Secretary General Diane Blake of the United Nations. We understand you have chosen to accompany the aliens to their homeworld. Tori nodded. Yes, Mom, I have. This is an extraordinary decision. Blake continued, one that impacts all of humanity. You would be our first representative among the stars. She paused, studying Tori. Have they coerced you in any way? No, Tori said firmly. This is my choice. I want to go. A man in a military uniform leaned forward. But why you? A mechanic from a small town. Why not a trained diplomat? A scientist? Tori smiled, thinking of the repair shop that now seemed so distant. I fixed something that was broken. I built something that connected our worlds. She glanced at Zara, who stood just out of view of the transmission, and I found something worth crossing the stars for. The officials exchanged glances, some skeptical, some understanding. Blake nodded slowly. We have prepared a data package for you to take information about Earth, our history, our cultures, our sciences. She hesitated. You may be the only human they ever know, Ms. Mason. You will represent us all. The weight of that responsibility settled on Tora's shoulders. I understand. I will do my best to show them the best of humanity. After the transmission ended, Tori sat quietly absorbing what had happened. She had become something she never imagined, an ambassador to the stars. The small-town girl who fixed engines would be the first human to live. Among aliens, Zara approached, kneeling beside her. Are you having doubts? Tori shook her head. No, just realizing how big this is. She looked up at Zara. How far is your world? Zara's freckles shimmered as she calculated. In your measurements, approximately 27 light years. Tori whistled. That's far. How long will it take us to get there? Our transport vessels utilize space-folding technology, Zara explained. The journey will take approximately 3 of your Earth weeks. 3 weeks, Tori repeated. And if I ever wanted to come back, the journey could be made again, Zara said. But such trips are rare. Resources for interstellar travel are carefully allocated. She took Tora's hands in hers. This is why the commander warned you. It may be years before you could return. Many years, Tori nodded, understood that when I decided. She squeezed Zara's hands. I've already said goodbye to my old life. The day of departure arrived. The human delegation had come aboard the research vessel for a formal ceremony. The first official diplomatic exchange between Earth and another intelligent species. Tori stood beside Zara, watching as leaders from both sides exchanged greetings, cautious but hopeful. Secretary Blake approached Tori after the ceremonies. History will remember you, Ms. Mason, she said. The first human to live among the stars. Tori smiled nervously. Just make sure they spell my name right in the history books. The transport vessel awaited a sleek ship designed for the long journey between star systems. Tori followed Zara aboard, carrying her few possessions. A small bag of clothes tools from her shop. Photographs of Earth. The aliens had allowed her these personal items, recognizing their psychological importance. Their quarters on the transport ship were comfortable, designed to accommodate both their needs. The viewing screen showed the research vessel growing smaller as they departed Earth orbit. The blue planet shrank to a tiny dot, then disappeared among the stars. Zara found Tori at the viewport hours later, still staring into space. Are you well? Tori nodded. Just saying goodbye, I guess. She turned to Zara. It's strange. I spent my whole life in one small corner of that planet. Now I can't even see it anymore. Zara stood beside her. Our journey has only begun, she said softly. There is much to see between here and my homeworld. The transport ship moved through space at impossible speeds, the stars streaking past as the vessel folded space around it. Tori spent hours in the ship's observatory, watching the cosmos unfold before her. She studied the alien language with Zara's help, making slow progress with its complex tonal patterns. The crew gradually became accustomed to her presence, some even seeking her out, curious about Earth and its people. 2 weeks into their journey, an alert sounded throughout the ship. Tori rushed to find Zara. What is it? What's happening? Space turbulence. Zara explained. Unexpected energy patterns disrupting our trajectory. We must change course. The ship shuddered around them, lights flickering. As the engine strained, Tori followed Zara to the command center where the crew worked frantically at control panels. The captain, a stern alien named Malor, barked orders. The navigation is failing. Captain, one crew member reported. We cannot maintain. The spacefold. Tori watched the chaos, feeling helpless until she noticed a pattern on one of the screens. The energy fluctuations looked familiar, like the interference patterns she had sometimes seen in old radio equipment back at her shop. She stepped forward hesitantly. The resonance pattern, she said, pointing to the screen. It's creating feedback in your navigation system. Life on Lumina unfolded in ways Tori could never have predicted. Each day brought new discoveries, challenges, and moments of wonder. The first months were the hardest. Her body struggled to adapt despite all preparations. The stronger gravity left, her tired muscles aching. The filtered air, though breathable, lacked the familiar composition of Earth atmosphere. The food synthesized to meet her nutritional needs tasted bland, artificial. Yet for every difficulty, there were a dozen marvels. The silver forests that sang in the wind, the ocean that glowed with 1,000,000 tiny organisms at night, the cities built to capture and channel light, creating spectacles that left her breathless. The technology so advanced it seemed like magic, though. Zara patiently explained the principles behind each innovation. Tori worked with the scientific council, sharing her knowledge of Earth in exchange for learning about Lumina. She became something of a celebrity, the first human among them, a living, breathing example of the species they had studied from afar for so long. She submitted to tests, examinations, interviews, each piece of data helping build understanding between their worlds. Through it all, Zara remained her constant companion, her guide, her anchor in this strange new world. Their connection deepened with each passing day, each shared experience building a bridge between their different ways of perceiving the universe. 6 months after her arrival, Tori sat in a laboratory with Dr. Naren, Zara's mother. The scientist was analyzing Tori's latest adaptation results. "Remarkable," Naren said. "Your body has begun producing new blood cells better suited to our atmosphere. Your bone density has increased to compensate for the gravity." She looked up from her instruments. "You adapt more quickly than we predicted." Tori smiled, flexing her hands, which had grown stronger. "Perhaps it's a human trait. We've always been good at adapting to new environments. It's how we survived on Earth." Naren made notes on her datapad. "Do you still experience the breathing discomfort?" "Less often," Tori admitted. "I only need the mask when I exert myself now." She touched the small device she wore around her neck, ready to activate when needed. It had become less cumbersome over time, the alien engineers modifying it based on her feedback and the dreams Naren asked, watching her closely. "Do you still dream of Earth?" Tori hesitated. "Sometimes, but not as often." The dreams had been intense in the early months. Vivid memories of blue skies, green trees, the smell of engine oil in her shop. She had woken crying more than once, Zara holding her through the grief of separation. But gradually the dreams had changed, becoming less painful, more like visiting an old friend. "I miss certain things," Tori acknowledged. The rain, the seasons, the familiar stars. But her gaze drifted to the window, where Lumina's silver landscape stretched to the horizon. "I have found new beauty here." Later that day, Tori joined Zara at the research center where the alien worked. Their days often aligned this way, each busy with their own responsibilities. But finding time together, Zara was analyzing the latest data from Earth. The ongoing diplomatic exchanges between their peoples seemed troubled. Tori said, noticing the dim glow of Zara's freckles, a sign of concern. Zara looked up from her screens. "The Council is debating expanding contact with Earth. Some believe we should establish permanent embassies, share more technology. Others fear moving too quickly." Tori sat beside her. "The same debates are happening on Earth. I spoke with Secretary Blake yesterday. Some nations welcome the relationship. Others distrust your intentions." She took Zara's hand gently. "It's natural. Both our peoples are cautious." They had become representatives of a sort, unofficial ambassadors bridging the gap between their species. Their personal relationship, though private in many ways, had become symbolic of the potential for connection across the vast differences that separated their worlds. That evening, they walked along the luminescent lake near their dwelling. The 3 moons of Lumina cast multiple shadows across the path. Tori had grown accustomed to the alien beauty of it, the way light played differently here than on Earth. "I received a message from the Council today," Zara said as they walked. "The Earth delegation has requested your presence." Tori looked up, surprised. "They want me to return to the research vessel." Zara nodded. They wish to hear your experiences, directly, your assessment of our world, our people. She hesitated. It would be a short visit. A few weeks only. Tori was quiet considering this. It would be her first time off Lumina since arriving the first time seeing humans again. Did they discuss whether I could visit Earth? She asked finally. The question she had avoided for months. Zara's freckles dimmed. No. The journey is still considered too resource-intensive for personal visits. However, she brightened. The Council has approved, expanded, communication. You could speak directly with people on Earth. See them through our version of what you would call video calls. Tori smiled at the thought of seeing familiar faces again, perhaps even visiting her small town through remote viewing technology. It wasn't the same as feeling Earth soil beneath her feet, but it was something. When do they want me to go? The transport leaves in 7 days, Zara explained. They have requested I accompany you. The research vessel remains in Earth orbit continuing diplomatic exchanges. They spent the week preparing Tori, gathering data reports, records of her adaptation. Her unique perspective on Luminan society. The medical team performed final evaluations documenting the remarkable changes in her physiology. Zara's family hosted a meal before their departure. The dwelling filled with the musical language of Lumina, which Tori now understood reasonably well, though she struggled to produce the complex tones herself. You have brought honor to our family, Zara's father said, raising a ceremonial cup. Though we did not anticipate the path observer Zara chose, her gaze moved between them both. We have come to see the wisdom in it. Tori bowed her head in the Luminan gesture of respect. Thank you for welcoming me into your home. Your kindness has made this strange world feel like a place I belong. The journey back to Earth orbit felt different this time. Tori realized the transport ship no longer seemed alien to her. Its design, its systems, its crew, all, had become familiar. The strange had become normal somewhere along the way. Zara found her in the observatory as they approached Earth. The blue planet growing larger in the viewport. So beautiful, Tori whispered. There is nothing quite like it. Zara stood beside her. Do you regret your choice to leave it? Tori considered the question seriously, watching clouds swirl across the surface of her home planet. I miss it sometimes, she admitted. Certain smells, certain feelings. The weight of Earth gravity, the exact composition of its air. But she turned to look at Zara. I found something beyond those things. Something worth the sacrifice. Their arrival at the research vessel was met with formal ceremony. The Earth delegation, consisting of diplomats, scientists, and military representatives, waited to greet them. Tori felt strange seeing humans again after so long. Their pink skin, their proportions, their movements all seemed slightly off now that she had grown accustomed to Luminan's secretary. Blake stepped forward. Ms. Mason, welcome back. She looked Tori over with surprise. You look changed. Tori smiled, touching her breathing device, which she now wore more as a precaution than necessity. My body has adapted to Lumina. I'm stronger now. My blood chemistry has altered to process their atmosphere. She gestured to the small group of humans. We have much to discuss. The next days were filled with debriefings, interviews, medical examinations. Tori shared her experiences on Lumina carefully, balancing honesty with diplomacy. She described the technological marvels, the social structures, the scientific advancements, but she also explained the challenges, the cultural differences, the occasional misunderstandings, the subtle prejudices that existed among some Luminans. They are not perfect, she told the Earth Council. They have their own conflicts, their own fears, but they are committed to peaceful exchange. Their technology could help solve many of Earth's problems, if we approach the relationship with respect and patience. The humans were particularly interested in her physical changes. The medical team documented everything from her increased bone density to the subtle changes in her vision that had adapted to luminous, brighter light. Have you considered returning to Earth permanently, Dr. Sato? The lead xenobiologist asked during one session. We could study your readaptation. Tori shook her head. My home is on Lumina now. The statement felt true as she said it. Though Earth pulled, at her heart it was no longer where she belonged. In private, Blake questioned her more directly. "Are you free to speak openly, Ms. Mason? Are you being monitored or controlled in any way?" Tori laughed at the suggestion. "No more than you're monitoring me. Right now, Secretary." She gestured to the cameras in the room. "I made my choice freely. I continue to choose it every day." "But what about Blake?" Hesitated, looking uncomfortable. "What about your relationship with the alien observer, Zara? The nature of your connection?" Tori met her gaze steadily. "What about it?" Blake looked away. "Our analysts have observed your interactions. They believe there is a personal attachment beyond professional collaboration." "Yes," Tori said simply. "There is. We care for each other deeply." She watched Blake process this information. Is that a problem for Earth diplomacy? The Secretary sighed. "It's unprecedented. It raises questions about influence, about loyalty.